Good day, viewers, and welcome to Bottom Line on Liberator Online Media Report. Today is 9/6/2020. The Barrow Inland Waterways is set to commence operations 17 months after its inauguration by President Muhammadu Buhari. Abubakar Kailani has a special report.
The Barrow Inland Port in Agege local government area of Niger State is yet to commence operations 17 months after its commissioning by President Muhammadu Buhari. The Barrow Port project cost was put at 5.8 billion naira and was awarded to a Chinese firm, CGCC Project Limited, in 2011-2012. However, no release of funds has stalled its completion, leading to its abandonment before the Buhari administration forged ahead to deliver it. The port boasts of a core length of 150 meters, cargo stacking yard of 7,000 square meters, a transit shade of 3,600 square meters, and estimated capacity of 5,000 TEU at a time. The port, which is expected to provide 2,000 direct and 2,500 indirect jobs, is equipped with facilities such as water hydrant system, water treatment plant, 3 forklifts of various tonnages, and powered by 100 kVA generating set. President Buhari, during the inauguration of the port in January 2019, expressed deep personal attachment to the project because, according to him, he assisted in the design of its complex during his time as chairman of the defunct Petroleum Special Task Force (PTF). He said the project will enhance intermodal transportation connectivity in Nigeria, reduce pressure of big trucks on the country's roads, create huge economic opportunities for Nigerians, and help in decongesting similar ports. But a visit by our reporter Mohamed Abagi to the facility showed that it has been lying dormant. Residents said no single cargo has been lifted, nor any vessel backed since the ceremony unveiling it for business activities in January 2019. The initiative rests our hope of the revival of economic activities we witnessed when the colonialists established the ports up to the early 70s, but our expectation is dimming by the day because since the commissioning of the place, no activities has taken place there, Captain Hassan Mohammed, an indigenous of the community, said. Hassan, also known as Captain Barrow, is a member of the committee set up by the host states to interface with relevant federal government agencies to ensure the actualization of the project. He also confirmed that no vessel had berthed at the port within the last 17 months. Why will ships berth when the apparatus that will make the port functional are not in place? He queried. Our correspondent noticed that key government officials that will have driven the port's activities were not on ground. There are no officials on ground, neither are their key officials of federal government such as customs and immigrations who are key to the operations of the port, one of the security guards said. It was gathered that the main constraint stalling activities at the port is accessing the facility as the two transport network, road and rail, that should serve as catalyst to its operation and in bad shape. Liberator reports that there are two major access roads to the ancient community, the 55 kilometers Barrow Kacha Agege and Barrow Muye linking Gegu on Abuja-Lokoja Expressway, both of which are in deplorable condition. The federal government awarded the contract for the Barrow Kacha Agege axis in 2009, but revoked it in 2012 due to alleged failure on the part of the contractor to deliver on time. However, the contract for the road was rewarded few months to 2015 general elections to an Indian firm at the cost of 17.5 billion naira with a 12-month completion period. During the flag-off for the road construction in March 2015, the contractor returned to site after an initial release of funds by the Buhari administration, but the progress has been slow due to failure to advance additional funds for the project. So far, only 10 kilometers of the road from the Agege section has been asphalted, but the entire section up to Kacha was graded. The terrain between Kacha and Barrow is nightmare, especially as the rain intensifies. times, rainwater forms ponds where deep gully exists, making it difficult for motorists to navigate, while the bridges constructed during the colonial era across streams are beginning to give way as a result of age. The Baro-Muye-Gegu section of the road, which links the port to the southern part of the country, is equally in a deplorable condition. The state of the road it was learned contributed to late installation of the cargo handling equipment at the port. The National Inland Waterways Authority and the company which handled the cargo equipment, First Index Nigeria Limited, had raised the alarm in late December 2018 when the truck bearing the consignment got stuck midway on its way to the port. Meanwhile, it was learned had to carry out minor repairs in order to make sure that the contractor delivered and installed the equipment ahead of port's commissioning in January. Apart from the road networks, the rail network, a standard gauge line put in place by the colonialists to aid movement of goods to the interland, has become relics. There used to be a railway network which linked Baro to Minna, established around 1911, but it became moribund in early 70s despite its centrality in the transportation framework of the country. The village area of Baro, Alhaji Shaba Wanchin, said. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi, during the commissioning of the port in January, promised that the rail network will also bounce back. Baro is going to be part of our greater central line, which will come from Abuja through Baro to join Itape all the way to Warri, he said. Beyond the rail and road infrastructure, there were also concerns and doubts over the dredging carried out by the federal government subsequent to the construction of the port and the scope of the project. Experts said that drought of between 2.5 and 30 meters inland waterways cannot accommodate big vessels that move on minimum draft of 8.5 meters. If anybody tells you that big vessels could berth in Baro or any other inland port, that person is just playing politics with issue. Modern vessels that are designed for a draught of between 8.5 and 10.5 meters ferry goods into the country and thereafter transfer same into barges, which in turn transload to smaller boats to inland ports, a marine engineer Abdullahi Mekujeri said. Our correspondent learned that the depth of River Niger is currently below the 2.5 meters minimum draught required for navigation due to high rate of siltation. Mekujeri said that the dredging supposedly carried out earlier was not an expensive one that will allow for all-season navigation. He said even with the expensive dredging, there is need for constant maintenance dredging to sustain the drought. But checks revealed that about 8 years after the supposed dredging, no maintenance dredging has been done at the Baro port. After the initial dredging, there is supposed to be maintenance dredging every 2 years, but we have not seen anybody coming to carry out maintenance dredging since the last exercise about 8 years ago, Captain Hassan said. The Liberator learned that the area was already highly silted before the wet season set in and is very difficult to navigate. The siltation of Niger was said to have been compounded by the construction of the Jeba, Kainji and Shiroro dams, as a result of which some areas on the Niger are clogged up with habitable islands along the routes. It was learned that the impact of the silt is more felt between December and March following cessation of rains, making navigations difficult. Liberator learned that President Muhammadu Buhari, the Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi, and important personality had to fly into Baro during the commissioning of the port in January 2019 by chopper. Another hindrance to the effective operation of the port facility is the absence of power in the entire town. Baro is not connected to electricity, and experts said the port management cannot depend on 100 kVA generator on ground to power all the equipment at the port. They fear that, like Onitsha River Port, which was commissioned 2 times and still left dormant, Baro Port may just be another electioneering instrument in the hands of politicians. Contacted newer general manager said the major constraints against the operation of Baro Port long after it was inaugurated was lack of access road. He said the port is fully set for operation, but for lack of access road, which is said was not within the purview of NIWA to handle. We have appealed to Federal Ministry of Works and they say they are still considering it. The issue now has nothing to do with NIWA per se. The ball is now in the court of the federal government. Who is the enemy delaying Barrow Port? If Barrow is not in the $22 billion borrowing plan and the additional $5 billion borrowing requests, then whose fault? Where are our Federal House of Rep members and senators who should be in the front line fighting for northern Nigeria at large regarding this?
On sports today, Liverpool Mohamed Salah is out of injury. Mohamed Salah out of training due to injury. The Egypt and Liverpool's winger Mohamed Salah has suffered a knock which forced him to sit out the Reds' latest training match. The Premier League is resuming on the 17th of June with Liverpool's first match is set to be against rivals Everton in the Merseyside derby on the 21st of June. Players have been preparing and training after almost 3 months of lockdowns in order to wrap up the Premier League campaign. However, 2 of the main key players for Liverpool pick up minor injuries that made them sit out of the training, including the Egyptian king Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah and the Robinson and goalkeeper Adrian sat out of today 11 versus 11 international friendly at Anfield as a preparation for the minor knocks, twisted Ben Dinari, an expert injury analysis on the official Twitter account. The game ended 1-0 with Sadio Mane scoring the only goal of the game. Liverpool are currently on the verge of winning the title as they are on the top of the Premier League table with 82 points, followed by Manchester City with 57 points. On behalf of the executive producer, Engineer Dr. Kailani Mohammed and Mohammed Abubakar, with my colleagues in the studio, saying goodbye.